Hey there, and welcome. This is Bob McDougall, Future Home Realty. If you're listening to this, you probably are a Future Home Realty agent. If you're not, you may have grabbed it from one of our other sites that we're connected with, which is all fine. But just bear in mind that if I am not your broker of real estate, then please, anything that would differ from your broker's rules, regulations, uh, policy and procedures, et cetera, you need to defer to your broker on any of this. So what I wanted to do is come up and discuss and show you some exciting things that are happening in statistics. You know, this is being recorded on May 24th of 2020, and we are coming out of a lockdown with COVID-related items. So if you're watching this sometime in the future and you're like, what is COVID? Well, hopefully we will get to the point where we forget all about this. But I've been encouraging our agents that more now than ever, we need to be aware of our statistics because we are coming out of this and coming out of it strong. And the good news is we are in Florida. I wanted to share some good news, but I also wanted to take this time to share with you what Florida Realtors has done for you and the way that you have. I've been approached by several of our agents, especially in some of the other regions that we service, to say, hey, look, where do I get statistics about what's going on with sales, what's going on with inventory and days on market and median sale price and all this kind of stuff. So I wanted to share with you that you can do this. Also, Florida Realtors has created a way, this is relatively new, that you can create and brand these charts to yourself. So if you want to make them available to your sphere and everything else, I'm going to show you how to do that. It may be a little lengthy, so if I talk too fast, just hit pause and go back and re-listen to it. And I'm also going to encourage you to go to the Florida Realtor site. And then I'm also going to show you one other site specific to the Tampa Bay region, because there's a little more data coming out of Tampa Bay that's being provided by the Pinellas Realtor organization, which is extremely beneficial on a day-by-day basis. But if you're not in one of those regions, you may want to reach out to your board and say, hey, how come you guys aren't providing this? This would be very helpful. Number one, I'll show that to you at the end. But in the meantime, you can take a look at the most recent statistics we have. So all that being said, bear with me and hang on. So this is the floridarealtors.org site. They've got some really good data for you. For the most recent data we have is for the month of April. It's now May 24th. So it takes about, usually it's halfway through, if not 3 weeks into the following month before we can get the latest data compiled and available to us. But right now we have April statistics available to us. You're going to go from here to Tools and Research. You see that? And we're going to go to Market Statistics. And when we're here, we are going to be brought to our market research, hang on, page. Let me go back one more moment here. Tools and Research, sorry. When I click on Tools and Research, what I'm looking for in the second box down here, you're going to see this new thing called SunStats. And it's really cool. I'm going to show you the old method as well after this, because I think maybe you can combine the two. One may be more beneficial for what you're trying to achieve. But if you dig into SunStats, let's take a look at this right here. SunStats is really cool, and it's one of the most powerful things. And you're going to launch Florida Realtor SunStats. So I'm going to click here. Now I'm going to log in. I've already set myself up here. All right. You might have to register the first time. If you haven't registered with Florida Realtors, it should be the same one you've done. And I already set up my SunStats account as well. And I have available in my settings, I set up where I can brand myself. I loaded up a picture of me, my logo, and so on and so forth. So a couple things to start here. You may not have anything in this when you first jump in, but I want to show you where to go. When you go, you'll be encouraged to do this. I set this up. Here's Orlando, Kissimmee, Sanford, MSA, which is a market area, right? So it's it's nice because I'm not looking for just Orlando. I'm looking for this market area, and you can do that. By the way, one of our agents was critical in this. She's out of the Jacksonville area saying, hey, look, there's nothing available for Jacksonville. So I'm going to show her specifically, Kristen Orr, how we're going to do this. So I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to hit the drop-down box. I can do the whole state of Florida, but a lot of times we want to get as specific as we can. Now, they're going to list out these MSAs here. They have, I don't know, maybe 12 or 14 different MSAs. You can see Jacksonville there. I want to show you what's ahead though, if you wanted to. Oh, there's more than that. There's Tampa St. Pete, by the way. You can do it by county. Okay. And my goodness. Anyway, so you can do different ways. I'm going to stick to right now. I'm going to, for Kristen's sake, we're going to jump into Jacksonville MSA. I'm going to, by the way, I can do all property types, which would include single family homes, townhomes, and condos. That would also include manufactured homes. So if I click here, it's going to give me everything, including manufactured homes. If I only want single family homes and townhomes, I can't do that, it looks like. So I'd have to go all property types. So I'm just going to stick with single family homes because I'm looking for some trends here, right? We're getting, just so you know, let me get this out of the way. Florida has never been shut down to realtors. We've been essential, which is great. And we are coming out of this thing fast and furious. So the good news is you live in a state where business is happening, has been happening, and it's starting to happen even more, as I can show you what the trends are showing us. So I'm going to go ahead and apply now. And now you notice I get Jacksonville stats. Now, what is this showing me? I'm on the dashboard right now, and it's showing me closed sales. Now, this very surface level is going to show me what we call year over year. All right, you see this Y/Y, that means year over year. What that means is it's going to compare April statistics of 2020 compared to April of a year ago, 2019. Because we have some seasonality, not so much in Florida as other states may have, but we have some seasonality, then we want to compare apples to apples if we could. So if last April, all right, there were 2,347 closed sales, single family homes in Jacksonville MSA. This April, it was 2,040. So a reduction and by 13.1%. All right, now how many of those were cash sales? You could take a look at that. Sometimes that's good to know because cash sales aren't always a great sign, by the way. We'll see in some of these other reports that we're going to look at through the old site that you're going to see that there's some good economist explanation on some of this stuff as well. So we have cash sales here. Cash sales is a percentage of closings and yada, yada, yada. More importantly, for me, we're looking for closed sales, the median sale price. So even though, check this out, Kristen, this is for you. You want to back this up. April of 2020, the median sale price, right, was $273,000. By the way, we like to use median sale price as opposed to average sale price. And the reason is, again, the economist report we'll talk about later will show us why it is less subject to outliers. Outliers can, when I say that, let's say a $4.8 million home sold may skew the average sale price numbers to the high side unnecessarily, where the median sale price basically kind of works from each end and meets in the middle, and that's your median sale price. So median sale price is usually what we look at. But the good news is April 2020, 273,000, April 2019, 251,000, 8.8%. Even though we had less sales, the average sale price was up. Okay, so that's okay, good news. Average sale price happened to be up as well. Dollar volume was down, which makes sense because we had fewer sales. The median percent of original list. So when it says what is the sale price compared to the asking price, and again, in April of 2020, this year, it was 98.2%, 97.4% last year, so it's gone up by 0.8%. Time to contract went down, which makes sense because we have an inventory shortage right now. So a year ago, it took 39 days on average to get to median to get to contract, whereas now this April only took 35 days. Median time to sale, okay, the actual closing, again, 75 days last year, 70 days this year. New pending sales, all right, so we had some drop in pending sales, which is good to know because that's going to forecast what's going to happen, let's say 45 days from now, all right, is that last April, 2,722, this April, 2021, so a drop of 25.8%, which you think, oh my goodness, that's bad. Well, It's not good, but it's not New York. It's not some of these other states that have had really bad. It's not Pennsylvania. The state of Pennsylvania is down 90% on their contract pending sales. So we need to be aware of that, okay? But there are plenty of good signs that are out there to be aware of. New listings, again, we have an inventory shortage. Here's time to go out there and with some raw data say, hey, look, we went up 8.8% year over year in our median sale price. You guys need to get on the market, all right? Especially now that we're coming out and we're feeling more comfortable and having people in the house to show homes and so on and so forth. It's all good. Pending inventory is down. Active inventory is down. Again, we talk about our active shortage. And our month supply is down. Month supply basically means how long would it take to eat up all the inventory. A year ago, it took 3.8 months to eat up all the inventory. This year, it's only taking 3.3 months to eat up all. It means we have more sales compared to the inventory on the market than we did a year ago, all right? Thus being said, I'm telling you, go out and get listings because we are seeing all sorts of evidence of rapidly selling properties, okay? All right, so now that's all well and good. Now we can only do this on a month-to-month basis with this statistic, right? So it's good year over year, and it's good information to have. Now, let's see what this chart builder does, all right? So while you're here, if you don't want to share this data like this, you can share it in tweets and Facebook posts and so on and so forth. The chart builder is kind of cool because now, once again, it changed back to my default of Orlando Kissimmee. So I'm going to go back in and let's see if we can get Jacksonville in here and do that and apply. All right, this is going to give me basically a 2-year analysis. Now I chose 2-year, by the way. If you want to change that, we're talking about closed sales. That's what we're analyzing in this chart. All right, again, single family homes, and we're doing the month. But if we wanted to, we could display by quarter or by the year. And the date range, they went all the way back to April of 2018 because we can see a nice trend here. All right, now let's see, what does this mean? Well, let's just take a look at this chart. Let's compare. Something we know. This is closed sales. We just got to talk about April of 2019, which is right here. April of 2019 was 2,347. That number should look familiar. And April of 2020 was 2,040. And we can see where it had been climbing. The reason I like this chart is because we can see that historically, April, May, June, July, August, right, had been some of our higher trending seasonality, right? That's when our busier season, if you would. At least it was last year. Well, let's go back to 2018. April, May, June, July dropped back down, but for the most part, it's one of the highest compared to the rest of the year, right? So we were in our peak selling season a year ago. Oh, well, let's see, how do we do? All right. Well, January, February, March was going up. April dropped, which makes sense because we really kind of went into quarantine in March, and our April closings were down a little bit. But the whole scheme of things, all right, our March of 2077 of 2019 is about where we were in April of 2020. So overall, we're not seeing this precipitous drop here, right? I like to look at trends here with that. Now, by the way, if you ever wanted to download with branding, if I hit that, remember I told you I set mine up already? It gave me a little download over here. I can pull that up and take a quick peek. And it's going to have this chart all branded to me, right? There's my logo, there's me, and there's my information that you can share with people. So this might be a good chart to be able to push out. All right, so I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm back to the website. You can download to an Excel spreadsheet as well if you want to manipulate the data a little bit and make things look different, or if you're really good with charts, you can do that as well. All right, so you could take, by the way, if I wanted a chart over, okay, that's great for active sales, but what if we wanted to do the median sale price, right? Well, I click on median sale price and all other things left the same. I'm going to go down here and hit apply, and my chart now will reflect the median sale price. So look what's happened to sale price. Boom, 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 boom. That's evidence of our shooting through the roof, right? And so that's good news. That's something you might want to take with you on a listing presentation. If people are thinking about, I don't know, it's a good time to sell or not. Well, I'm thinking it is. And if you meet with a buyer, say, well, here's where we're trending, even in the midst of this, sale price wise. So if you're thinking about buying, I say sooner the better. Would be a good time to do that. So you can play around with all of this. I'm going to encourage you to dig in and start taking a look. So that is really, really cool stuff. The ability to brand yourself and set yourself up and do that. Now, I want to go back. All right, so this is what we call Sun Stats, which is a really cool thing. Some limitations, but it's going to give you a lot of what you need. There's one thing too, if you wanted to get a little more detail, let me see if I can go to, let's go back to Florida Realtors. And I'm going to go to Tools and Research and Market Statistics. The reason I'm going to go here is because our Sun Stats has just changed, right? So I'm going to go down here and see this site back here. Now yours may be a little bit different, but back to old site. I'm going to go back to old site. Now from here, this is the old Florida Realtor site, and I'm going to go to Research and Statistics. These are the charts that we may have seen before, Florida market reports. Now again, the limit is that we're limited to last month's. At the most recent stuff we can have is April of 2020, which is, again, I'm not saying it's like extremely delayed, but I just clicked on the Florida market reports. And let's see what we get once this pulls up. It's a little slow right now. All right, so now I'm here. I get a menu of things I get to choose from. All right, here are statewide reports that are publicly available because they allow those available for the press and people looking to do analysis. All right, but let's go back to Kristen, Oregon. She wants to know what's happened specifically in the metropolitan statistical area, okay, the MSA of Jacksonville. So let's go change this all to Jacksonville. So we can go back up here to Jacksonville. And we're going to take a look if we want to at the quarterly reports because of Q1 of 2020. 2019 is obviously the most recent for the annual reports. That's all we can do. I can go to any month. If I want to take a look at April of 2020, I'm here. And this should give us some same number, but it's going to give a few more charts. It's going to give everything kind of compiled. So I'm going to hit view. It's going to ask me to log in again. If you haven't set this up, it's only for members only. So you're going to have to set yourself up with Florida Realtors and sign in. And this will take a minute to load. And once it does, you see it loads down here. I'm going to go ahead and open up that report. And this is really cool. You may have seen these before. We got 10 pages of report. But this is single family homes, Jacksonville, April 2020, April 2019. Some of the same stuff we talked about before, right? We've already seen all these different things, pending sales, new listings, pending inventory, months supply, so on and so forth. It's going to give us the year over year stuff, right? But this also goes down, and this is where I referenced earlier. We talked about the economist's note. Closed sales are one of the simplest yet most important indicators of the residential real estate market, right? When you compare them year over year, where are we? And again, we're going to get a nice 2-year chart line. Actually, this gives us a close to 4-year chart line of what trends are. Remember I talked about that April, May, June, and July seem to be really high. Well, look at April, May, June, July, 10 in August even jumped up here in 16. Same thing for 17, 18, 19. All right, so you can start to see the trends, right? That if we do have any seasonality, we're going to have this. Now that was closed sales, single family homes, right? All right, so this is cash sales. Again, same charts that apply, single family homes. Median sale price, single family homes, things we've seen before, right, that we were looking at. April, year over year, average sale, median sale price is up 8.8%. That's that same statistic we saw from the previous format. You just got to look at the different things. This will kind of create also, you can't brand these, unfortunately, but you can certainly provide them because you are a Florida Realtor member. All right, single family homes. monthly market detail, boom, boom, boom. Now, if I had clicked, let's see, let's go back here. Let's see if that takes me back here. Go back again. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Remember, we chose Jacksonville. I didn't change the other one. We chose Jacksonville here. I can choose any market center or metropolitan statistical area that I want to. You could do it by different months. If you want to look at the quarters, you could do that there. And let's see if I go here. Yes, this is for all that information. County reports, if you want to do it by county. This is, you can actually get down to town level. You can actually do zip code statistics for members only, all right? If you want to do specific zip codes and get all into that. So I'm going to encourage you to get in here and play around. You may not know that this is available to you, but it's really, really cool to see what's available and why it's so important to understand some of the data that's coming out as we shift out of this, that we want to be able to understand. By the way, for the 2020 release schedule, you can take a look at when they're going to release, like May's. Let's matter of fact, let's see that. Let's see if they can tell us when I click on that. 2020, January 22nd is when. So May 12th is when first quarter came out. May 21st is when the April came out. June 22nd is when it looks like May existing homes and condo sales will come out. So that gives us when, like I said, it's usually the third week. So that kind of tells us there when all this data will be available. So really, really cool. Again, things you want to focus on, in my opinion, are obviously number of sales, number of pendings, number of active listings, month supply of inventory, median sale price, of course, all stuff that's going to help you dialogue more efficiently and effectively with your clients about what's going on. All right. Now, last thing. Again, here's the beauty. You know what you're looking for, so you can get down. Remember, you can dive into all this and get down to the nitty gritty. You don't need me to record these every week to tell you what's happening. I would rather teach you how to fish than give you a fish. So it is right there. I haven't looked, but I bet that there are great classes, even on the Florida Realtor site, on how to use these statistics. There's probably a great class on the Sun Stats as well that you can, showing you how to do this if you really, really want to learn how to get down into even deeper minutia. I would encourage you not to get too deep, but just understand where the trends are so you can show people what's happening and why Florida is the place to be. All right. Two last key points of interest I want to point out. This is now, if you're not a member of the the Pinellas Realtor organization, you're not going to have, well, I think you could go on the Pinellas Realtor organization, but it's only for the Tampa Bay metropolitan area. So that's great. If you're in Orlando or Jacksonville, where Future Home Realty also has offices, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to your board and say, hey, how come they're doing this, right? So what the Pinellas Realtor organization, is doing is every day they're going out and putting out real estate market statistics for us, right? So if you go to the main site, you'll be able to see it. As I come down here, I clicked on May. By the way, I clicked on May to see when this all, by the way, they started this on March 28th because there was a demand. Actually, one of our agents, who is the chairman of PRO, is Cindy Hayden, is the one who was instrumental in getting them to do this for us, which is really cool. What you're going to really like here is this. If I click on May, look at what happens on May 22nd. That's the most recent one we have, which was Friday, May 22nd. It's going to give us all the data through May 21st. So it's only 1 day old, all right, when you jump on this. And this will tell you the report breakdowns, what's going to be ahead on these pages. But the cool thing is, here's what I like, and I'll let you dig into this. A couple things I want to show you. This first page is showing you what day, and they have them in blocks of 7 because it's going to be a week by week analysis. Because I think it's so critical as we come out of this, is how are we coming out even compared to 2 weeks ago, right? and we'll be able to show that. This report breakdown does a good job of explaining all this. The days here are going to be critical because day 1 was May. It's going back 1 day, so this was on May 21st. Day 2 was May 20th. Day 3 was May 19th. It's going in reverse order, right? All the way down to May 28th. I'm sorry, day 28, which was April 24th, right? So remember, it's going backwards. So if you ever get stuck, what does that mean? What is day 15 through 21? You're going to go, oh, I see why. Maybe there were more closings days 22 to 28 because we had the end of the month in there, all right, which a lot of closings occur at the end of the month, right? We're always skewed that way. So let's take a look at what this data has, right? I'm going to focus, there are multiple pages here, 14 of them, as a matter of fact, but I'm going to focus just on the 4-week real estate market report, Tampa Bay single family homes, all right? Thursday, May 21st, 2020. Now, what is this telling us? Now, let's just take a look at this for a moment. Look at the chart over here. The deeper blue is active. The orange-ish is pending. The gray is sold, all right? The yellow or gold is canceled, and the lighter blue is temporarily off market, right? So now, remember, day 1 through 7, is again giving us this information here, is the last week, all right? So it had been May 21st through May 15th, or May 15th through the 21st, right? Well, look what happened. In those 7 days in the Tampa Bay market for single-family homes, we had 1,925 pending contracts, right? Compare that to 1,640 pendings the week before, compared to 1,361 pendings the week before, compared to 1,120 pendings the week before. This is a very positive sign. Look at this trend, right? Weekly, we see more and more pendings, and we know that pendings will lead to closed or sold, right? So that's all great news. Look what also is happening. Let's look at the blue, the actives. Going back 4 weeks, remember all the way back to 4 weeks ago, 549, 795, 855, 1,200 active listings coming in the market are increasing, which is great news because we're selling more of them. We need them at, but look, we outsold 1,925 pendings, only 1,200 new. Obviously, we're going to have a drop in inventory, right? Because anytime this number exceeds this number, we're going to have issues that we're not replacing the active listings as quickly as we're selling them, right? So that's signs that we're having an inventory issue, right? Now, some people might ask, well, look at the gray. Gray is sold, right? So Bob, I thought, why are we trending up all this stuff, but why are we had this 1,230 closings, and then the next week only 700 and 734 and 885. So we're starting to trend up a little bit here, but why so many closings 4 weeks ago? Well, let's go back and take a look. Remember, 4 weeks ago was this region right here. And what does it include? The last day of the month, right? You guys know it's just instinctual that agents write contracts that close in the last week of the month, right? So it makes sense, right? Now, when we started getting new data and these data shift and we shift out of this, so these drop off and these dates are now 4 weeks ago, you're probably going to see something different, right? But make it make sense. Really start to think about what is going on with that and why we would have that. So it makes a little bit of sense to me that we'd have more closings in the last week of the month. And then now we're trending back up. And as we go through, you can take a look at it, right? Market changes, right? So 521, the percentage 4 weeks active, that means that we've on average gone up 8% over the last 4 weeks of our active listings. Price increases, actually 1% have gone up. Price decreases have dropped by 10%, so the stale stuff is starting to come down and back in the market. So this is really, really good data, all right? And this is cumulative, right? So as of April 30th, 2020, there were 12,570 active listings, 6,310 pending, and 4,398 sold, right? Our 4 weeks here are getting back up toward that. So again, you can go through and see. Now, again, Pinellas Realtor organization putting out, it's available to anybody. They didn't have to log in there, but it's only going to be about the Tampa Bay area, right? So here's condos, right, the Tampa Bay area. Here's Pinellas County single family individually, Pinellas County condo, Pasco County single family, Pasco County condo, Hillsborough single family, Hillsborough condo, all right, Sarasota, and so on and so forth, okay? So anyway, really good information. One last thing I want to show you is this, is that David Bennett, who's also the CEO of Pinellas Realtor Organization, put out this for us just the other day. It was kind of interesting, a showing time analysis. And I copy and pasted this into a Word doc, but this is from all of North America, all right, this first chart, showing time. This is April 5th of this year, right? We were at a traditional low. We were down 40% of our median, of our average, right? Way down. Now look what happens, April 19th, May 3rd, May 7th. This is across the country. Look how we are trending, all right? By the way, the blue line was 2019 weekly average. This gold or yellow line is 2020. So obviously we were down and now we're trending back up. He just kind of dropped in because this is available New York, because New York was one of the hardest hit in the pandemic, right? It follows closely, and matter of fact, probably a lot of this national was New York kind of dragging everybody down. Let's take a look at this last one. I'm going to show you what's happened here. This is Florida. All right. Now, again, compared to our average, we were down, but again, we're following the same trends, and look how much we are almost caught up now to where we were last May 17th on this average. So the good news is all of this is just very, very good info to have to know what's going on and to be educated about your market, right? So my goal is to do this in 30 minutes. I'm at 32 now, so I'm going to wrap up. I just want you to know that this stuff is available. This Pinellas Realtor stuff is available on a daily basis. The other things are available on a monthly basis, but you can go monthly, quarterly, annually if you want. And there's really good info out there. I know sometimes people gloss over when they say statistics, but you know what? If you just put in some very basic information, it will spit out a lot of data. You don't have to spend a ton of time. I bet every month when these statistics come out, if you spent 15 minutes kind of analyzing and going over some things, you would get a really good sense of the trend lines that are going on. So I hope this all helps. We're going to put this on the front page of FHR University, so you can always go back and review this. I'm going to encourage you to go to the things that we were looking at as far as the websites from either Pro or from SunStats, and see if there's some training that you want to learn more of to have, but it should all be available for you there. Hope you guys are having a great day. This is Memorial Day weekend, so if you're watching this real soon, I think every weekend ought to be Memorial Day, that we ought to remember those who have given the truest, greatest, full amount of service by giving their lives to protect the freedoms we're in. Remember, Memorial Day is when we honor and remember those who gave their lives, men and women, protecting our country. So please do so, and remember the families of those who have lost loved ones in service. So anyway, hope you guys do well with this information. If you have a specific questions, you can reach out. Feel free to reach out to myself during the office hours. I'm happy to pull this up and go through and reteach some of this stuff. If it's one of the questions you may have, I can pull it up on the screen. We can go through that as well. Proud of you guys. Keep hanging in there. I am so thrilled with how you guys are managing through this and doing fantastic stuff. All right. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.